This, honestly, this is kind of a joke. Like, this is so partisan, it's not even funny.
We have lost so much in this country for so long, and we think it's okay. It's okay. We don't have to be productive. We don't have to work. We don't have to. The government will pick up the check.
It is clear that Republicans are the family of are supporting hardworking American families, and Democrats, in opposing this bill, have voted against every one of those provisions that would have done that. And in fact, they're standing for bigger government. Yeah. They're standing for more taxes from people's pockets. They're standing for more government expenditures. Yeah. They're standing for people staying on Medicaid with no requirement for anything they need to do to stay on.
You know, they say that, the big, beautiful bill that's benefiting billionaires. Who owns the hotels? I don't own the hotel. I'm assuming it's a billionaire. So maybe with a billionaire getting a tax credit that owns this hotel, he cannot charge $25 to valet, $50 to park here, or a $15 bottle of water.
What this bill does is put work requirements that have been proven to be ineffective and have resulted in nothing but additional red tape that prevent people from accessing health care.
The other thing that Dr. Oz said, which I thought was really good, and that is if you came home at the end of the day and there was someone sitting on your sofa that did nothing for 6 hours, sat and watched TV for 6 hours, wouldn't you require them to get up and do their part? Do you think about that all in terms of work requirements?
2/3 of Nevadans who are on Medicaid are currently employed. They have jobs. They are working hard.
What about the ones who aren't but could be?
We are talking about children. We are talking about seniors. We are talking about people with disabilities.
We're not talking about children. We're not talking about seniors. And we're not talking about mothers with children. We're not talking about individuals with disability. That is patently false. They are excluded from these work requirements. What we're talking about is individuals who are working age, who have no reason they could not participate in the workforce, but are choosing not to do so.
Here's the thing. Let's make a deal. Let's have a field hearing, a real one. Just let's pull a district out of a hat, where we do a third Republicans, a third Democrats, and a third Independents. And let's make it open to the public. There's not even enough hearings. So, Mr. Chairman, would you agree to do a field hearing at drawing a random district out of the hat, agreeing to do a third Democrat, third Republican, a third Independent? So with 200 to 300 people, let's make it 500. So then we can really have a debate over this big, so-called beautiful bill. Mr. Chairman, it's an easy request.
You have your time and the clock is ticking.
See, there you go, folks. They don't want to have a real discussion and a real debate over this bill. They don't even hold, they were told not to even hold in-person town halls. Why? Because their constituents are mad as hell. And they're mad as hell because this thing, this big, ugly billionaire bill that really gives tax breaks for the billionaires and largest corporations while screwing the little guy. That's what this bill does. But they refuse to hold town halls. I held a town hall in North Carolina because the Republican congressman there hasn't had a town hall since 2017. I held a town hall in Bakersfield, California, because the member of Congress there refuses to have a town hall. I went to a Republican district in Orange County. They refuse to have town halls in person. I've held 3 in-person town halls in my district, open to the entire public, right? And here's the thing, not everybody agrees with me. People call me conservative in my district. So here, no. Here's the thing. We can have this debate. We actually passed the tax package a few years ago. I think it was in 2024 or 2023. That was a deal cut by the Republicans in the House on this committee and the Senate Democrats. And we supported it because it was a bill that focused on working people. It dealt with an enhanced child tax credit. It dealt with a lot of things that would benefit working people. Is what we would have written? No. And the reason why I'm so passionate about it is because that's my background. I worked, when I graduated high school, no plans on going to college. Worked at Subway and Target. Understand what it means when when rates are going up when it comes to insurance. Like but you know what? Didn't have insurance. I had to survive on Medicaid. But nobody, like my parents worked 5 to 6 jobs a week. Yep, 5 to 6 jobs a week. So this bill is not going to do you any justice. And here's the fact. We can have this debate as much as we want, but the reality on the ground will hit people in Nevada no matter what. Either it's going to be good or it's going to be bad. Either those tariffs that are costing jobs are going to either be good or bad, but you're going to feel it. I was here in 2008 for a few months. I was campaigning for Obama. And every door I went to, it was almost every other door, was a foreclosure sign. Foreclosure sign. It was, so bad federal policy hits Nevada first. Like, I recognize that. So I'm willing to, say if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But there are things that I know I hope don't happen, but I'm pretty sure they're going to happen. The impact on working people. The fact that they're not going to get health care coverage, the fact that the cost of living is going to increase, and then the jobs are going to leave. We see that happening already. So I would love to have a real hearing with open public, and then let's randomly select people that want to show up. Because that's a debate I'm willing to have. But this right here, they're going to carve you up into little snippets, and they're going to put you on their social media in order to justify passing this disastrous bill. That's what it's all about. With that, I yield back.
My name is Nicole Cannizzaro, and I proudly serve as the Majority Leader for the Nevada State Senate. I appreciate the opportunity to speak today on 3 critically important issues to Nevadans: healthcare access and affordability, energy, and food security. When Nevada became the first state led by a Republican governor to expand Medicaid in 2012, our uninsured rate was second highest in the nation, an astronomical 22%. Today, Nevada's uninsured rate is at an all-time low of 8%. H.R. 1's provisions targeting Medicaid will erase much of this progress and lead to tens of thousands of Nevadans losing coverage. According to the Kaiser Family Foundation, nearly 800,000 Nevadans, almost 1 in 4, rely on Medicaid. Analysis from the Nevada Medicaid suggests that nearly 100,000 Nevadans will lose coverage due to more stringent eligibility verification requirements, paperwork barriers, and reduced funding, despite more than 2/3 of enrollees being employed. Another 100,000 Nevadans are covered through the Silver State Health Exchange. But under H.R. 1, some populations would experience a 573% increase in their premium payments. Across all income brackets, premiums are likely to increase by roughly 75% next year, which will lead to more Nevadans foregoing coverage. This means fewer people getting preventative care, more uncompensated emergency room visits, and long-term costs shifted to state and local health systems. Those costs, to be clear, do not disappear. They will get passed on in the form of higher premiums for everyone else. Under H.R. 1's changes to the provider tax structure, Nevada would lose an average of $160 million in revenue per year over the next 5 years. The effect on our healthcare infrastructure will be devastating and swift. Already, Nevada hospitals struggle to attract and retain qualified personnel and will have fewer doctors and fewer services. When provider tax cuts are combined with Medicaid eligibility tightening and reduced federal match, our rural hospitals may reduce services as well, cut critical units like long-term care for seniors or labor and delivery services, forcing residents to travel hundreds of miles for emergency or specialist care. Next, let's talk about energy costs. In Nevada, where summer highs routinely exceed 110 degrees, air conditioning isn't a luxury, it is a necessity. Our state has become a national leader in the renewable space, with Nevada holding vast potential for solar and geothermal power. The solar industry alone created more than 8,000 good-paying jobs across more than 100 companies. H.R. 1 discourages the development of cost-effective electricity generation. And according to Energy Innovation, Nevada families are now projected to experience an annual increase of $300 to their energy bills over the next 5 years. This won't just hurt the pocketbooks of Nevada families, it will damage our economy. So let's move on to food security. The Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program is one of the most effective tools we have to fight food insecurity. In Nevada, over 500,000 individuals, including 1 in 5 children, rely on SNAP to make ends meet. These are not people who are gaming the system. They are working families, single mothers, caregivers, and people living with disabilities. And for every dollar in SNAP benefits issued, between $1.50 and $1.70 is then returned to our local economy. Instead, H.R. 1 imposes stricter eligibility rules that will cost Nevada taxpayers $20 million per year while penalizing states for error rates that are often driven by administrative complexity and staffing shortages, not fraud. While Nevada's error rate currently falls below that threshold, that was not the case as recently as 2023. In effect, this means that thousands of eligible Nevadans could lose access to food assistance while at the same time costs go up for Nevada taxpayers. Finally, I'll conclude with a brief note about no tax on tips. The reality of this provision is that the tax exemption is temporary, while tax cuts for billionaires and large corporations in this bill are permanent. That is not tax fairness, it's tax theater. And this temporary benefit will only help Nevada's tipped workers if we continue to have tourists to tip them. That's no guarantee, especially amidst a year-over-year decline in visitation from both domestic and international tourists. This is a bill that puts the interests of the wealthiest Americans first. It locks in permanent advantages for billionaires and corporations, it strips away state flexibility and burdens our agencies, and it does not promote economic growth, and it will ultimately raise costs across the board for working and middle-class families. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak today.